Recording. And I'm going to take a quick picture so I'm ready when we're doing this because you can actually, with Healy, broadcast frequencies to a group. And so I'm going to just get that kind of going and send some vibrations out to the group. And I'll show you guys how we do this when we come back. But I will, it's kind of cool. So when you think about a group, you can do it to your family, you can do it to your business. Missed it on that picture. Um, and so you've got everybody over there kind of covered. And the first time I demoed this to a group, um, it was amazing. One of the ladies came on after I beamed out 2 minutes worth of frequencies. Her name's Charlene. And she said, "It's amazing, John." And I go, "Well, what's that?" She goes, "Just before getting on the call, I was eating hot pizza. I burned the roof of my mouth. You know how it is? The cheese is so good. You eat it, you take a bite, boom." And she goes, "Well, so good, I took another bite." So I actually even had like a blister coming. But after those 2 minutes and 30 seconds of frequencies that you beamed out, my pain is gone and my blister is gone. And I wasn't expecting to have a testimonial on it, but there it was. We had a testimonial on that, and she came back and was just kind of amazed. And I talked to her the next day when I said, "Well, Charlene, tell me about this. Is your mouth really recovered?" She goes, "John, I'm eating crusty sourdough bread right now, and it's completely good. I have no problem." So um, that's just in the case to like to individuals. Individuals, get the benefit as well. But there was, somebody, uh, in a group setting getting a benefit. So I have no idea if who here today in the group is going to get a benefit, but I'm just going to go through and I'm going to broadcast uh, some frequencies. Where did it go? Healy Zoom. And then I'm going to show you guys this later on, but I just want to get it going and I'll zoom into the presentation. Probably should have just showed you guys this, but let me get the presentation going. I'm going to get this going right now. Acrobatic Reader. Can you guys see that? Yeah? Okay, thanks,
Yep.
Tim. Okay, and in the background here, I have got, and I'll show you guys what we did afterwards. I've got a broadcast of frequencies coming out to the group right now. So we're going to be talking about this device. In case you haven't seen it, this is what Healy looks like. And actually, there it is in my hand. So you can see how small it is. I actually am wearing it on a little collar right now, or I can just wear it on a thing. Or it's got a clip and you can clip it to yourself. But this is the size of Healy. And so now we'll go through and we'll talk about what this little magic quantum device can do. So to start with it, I just want to tell you, these are the two guys that are behind Healy. So on the left there is Marcus Schmidtke. He's basically the brains behind Healy. He's a quantum physicist. As you can see, he's got a bunch of books that he's published. But by the time he was in his early 20s and published, he decided that he'd had enough of physics and quantum physics and he wanted to go through and connect with spirituality. So he went over to India and practiced being a monk for over a decade and a half. And after going through that experience, he came back and he said, "I'm ready now where I believe I can marry spirituality and physics together. And I think I can build some devices." And he created and started a company called TimeWaver. And he started that over 15 years ago. And that's a big machine that connects up to a PC and you interact with a therapist. And so it's the three of you, the machine, you, and the therapist, and you meet there in the office and you guys connect. And they've been broadcasting these frequencies, and this database has over 500,000 frequencies, creating results all over the world. With him, his co-founder is this guy, Christian Halper, who's a multi-billionaire. Also happens to be very interested into spirituality and science and quantum physics. Had a super hedge fund. The guy's got, one of those guys that has more money than, everybody else. But he was interested in this way to promote frequencies and technologies for the world. And so their vision is right here. As you can see, it was basically to empower people to live a healthier life, higher consciousness, inspired towards a global community, and to have a continuous positive impact on humanity. And so they're involved doing this, creating this kind of goodness for the world. That's kind of just the feel of the company. And I can tell you that's what I've felt through the people. It's been a year that I've been involved with them, and I've been in a lot of startups out in Silicon Valley. And I can tell you that these people are really committed to it. They've got the money to put behind it to ride through any potential rough times as a new startup goes. And so we've got a really strong company behind this product. So this is their mission statement: to go through and create revolutionary products to empower people. And the people who invited you here tonight, they wouldn't have done that if they didn't feel very powerful about what's already happened to them in their lives with Healy. They've already had this kind of experience and they kind of just want to pass it on. So the product's made in Germany. So it's German-based technology. And over here on the right is this little quote that you'll see, and by Nikola Tesla. And he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Albert Einstein has said something very similar as well. And basically, he kind of said that we were basically just slowed down sound waves and light, feeling in this dense thing. So while we kind of sometimes get fooled and think we're solid matter, we're actually frequency and energy and vibrations. And I'll share with you why that's important and why this technology works. So they've got these different categories. They want to go through and take care of you with nutrition for your life. They want to get you just frequencies for your life and a whole range of things. And then if you're interested, in the Healy watch. But tonight, we're really focused on the Healy because this is the core product. And this is where they have this amazing promo that they just put on 2 days ago, and it ends on Sunday. So that's why you got invited here, because there's a incredible good deal to get involved with this, and we'll talk about that. But this is their product line, so it's not just one thing. So I'm just going to kind of, there's a lot here that the company's involved in. So people wonder, like, wow, I haven't heard about it. Well, that's true here in the US. Healy just got introduced to the US a year ago, May. Brand new. They're doing it through social selling. So that's why you found out about it. They decided not to go with an Amazon like that because this product really requires some one-on-one help, right? With somebody else to help you, to work with you, to learn and go through. Because, I mean, raise your hand. How many of you, really knew about frequencies and vibrations and how they healed us? Well, if you've been working with Tim Lippard, for sure you know about this because he's been doing this for 20 years. But a lot of us, maybe kind of heard about it. Maybe heard about chakras, or we heard about Reiki energy healing, but a lot of us haven't. So this is very different than what's been promoted to us by the mainstream medical society. Take a pill to get well. This isn't take a pill. There's no contraindications, and it's amazing. So Healy right now is being sold in 45 countries. When they talk about professional users, they're talking about people who have the time waver machines and time waver therapists. And these people, there's some of them have been practicing for over 15 years, have had these devices. I happen to get interested in it, and I have 2 of them, and I've had it for about almost a year now. So we're going to now focus on Healy. And this is really an amazing device. So you can think about Healy. What they did is they took the time waver machine and all that technology, and their goal was, how can we empower people with self-care? Because we want individuals to be able to take care of themselves. Can they make a purchase? Can they go through and can they do it? And, we'll leave the big bear trap issues to Tim Lippard. When we've got a bad issue, we'll go over, we'll see Tim. When we go over there, we'll see a time waver therapist. But in the meantime, maybe we can just optimize our life by ourselves. So You've always got to kind of go through this. We've got to give a disclaimer. This is a notice. Healy is a microcurrent device that's been cleared by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration only for the relief of acute, chronic, and arthritis pain in sore muscles due to overexertion. Healy also has non-medical applications that use individualized microcurrents, IMF, to harmonize your bioenergetic field. Always use your Healy in accordance with its instructions. Now we've kept the lawyers happy. So here's a part where Healy is being, it's cleared in the US as a class 2 medical device. So for the relief of local pain. But I'm going to tell you, and our experience has, because we hold a Thursday night call where people come in and share what happens. And there's a lot of amazing stories that happen every Thursday night. And we just gather together as a community and go, hey, what's going on with you? What's happened over there? What's your experience with Healy? And we've been, we created a space to have a little community where we could learn and grow. So when you get your device, you're not going to be left on your own. You'll have the person who invited you. They're going to work with you. And then you can also join us on Thursday nights. And there's other groups too that we can point you towards, but we really care about you. We want to make sure you get a benefit.
Silenced.
So Healy is, what they said is one of the things was to use to manage pain. I can personally tell you, I dropped a cabinet on my foot, which was akin to taking a hammer to your thumb kind of a deal. Dropped it on it. I was barefoot. I had tears streaming down my eyes, an 11 pain, and I'm hopping around the house, like a mad Indian on one foot, just going crazy. And I had just gotten to Healy just about a month earlier. And I went, oh my God, I'm going to use Healy. Let's see if we can help find out somebody who doesn't realize they're unmuted.
Tell the difference. I've done like 3 treatments. It doesn't hurt. Really?
Okay, we found him. Anyways, so that was so hopping around. So what I basically did is I took an adhesive pad, put it on the top of my toe, put one on the underside of my toe, and I hooked up to the frequencies that have to deal with pain. And within 3 minutes, my pain had gone from an 11 down to a 3 or a 4. I continued to run it. I ran it again where the pain basically kind of dissipated. And I don't know if you've ever smashed your thumb or something like that, but you basically lose your nail and you don't have use of that digit, for a long time because it gets swollen. I had full use of my toe the next day. I could walk around and move, and I was going like, now that's not the way to go build a testimonial, right? But I'm just letting you know that was my testimonial. That was huge. So let's go through here. So we know it can manage pain. Okay, why aren't you flipping here, screen? Okay, so Healy has a medical advisory board. So people wonder about that, but they've got an advisory board that have helped build these frequencies. So there's a lot of good people over here. And one of them, you're going to know in your program, you've got a thing called the Gold Cycle. And this guy over here, Nuno Nina, is an intuitive. He can basically look at you and he can tell what's wrong. He's gone through and he's intuited what kind of frequencies to do and what to use to heal people. He's got a clinic over in Portugal and he's amazing. And I've got personal experience because I've actually worked with him. And I was like, that's scary. How did you know that? Right? I hadn't even, been giving him, here's my report. But then he kind of knows what frequencies to put together. So one of the things Healy did, Time Waver, they said, no, we'd like to catch what's in your head and we'd like to bottle it into, programs. Are you willing to do that? Can you think we can do that? So he did, and he created the series called the Gold Programs that have, I think there's 7 programs in there, and we'll see that in a little bit, but he created those programs in Healy. So you're getting this kind of knowledge right there at your hands that you can use with your Healy and like your iPhone, your Android phone, or your your tablet or your iPad. So let's see, we'll flip here again. So remember, here's what I talked about. These are the adhesive pads. So that's what I put on my toe. But if you're having neck pains or a headache kind of thing, you might attach them up here. And see this little diagram here? It's an application. So in here, this is a paint application, and they're showing where you might want to hook up the two little pads, right? And then if you decided that you didn't want to hook up the pads, what's really kind of cool is there's this thing called coil, called the Healy coil, which is an add-on that they have for only 200 bucks. You plug this thing in, and this creates like a Tesla magnetic field around your body to broadcast the frequencies into you in that field. And I can let Tim probably could go into even a deeper explanation of how that coil works if we have a question on that. But, I'm just going to continue with our presentation here. So there's a lot of patents and a lot of high standards that I've shown here. So this is all the kind of level that they have. It's developed over in German. They've got very high standards, and now it's coming out here into our marketplace. So you can be assured that you're getting some really good technology. So you've heard this term, but you probably really don't understand harmonization of the bioenergetic field with individualized microcurrents. Whoa, what does all that mean? Okay, let me help you understand that. So first, bioenergetic field, what does that mean? If you think about when the acupuncturist works with you, they're working at chi, they're working on the meridians, they're working at this flow of this energy in your body. Or in yoga, they talk about prana, the breath, to move energies in you. That's what they're talking about, the bioenergetic field. This flow of live energy that connects the body, the mind, and the soul. All right? So when I use that term in scientific terms, they call this, information flow. So you'll hear me sometimes talk about later on what I'm doing right now, this broadcast that's coming out to all of you now that I told you I was starting. I am broadcasting on this information field that's touching you all right now during this presentation. All right? Kind of wild. And I'll tell you, 10 to 15% of the people can actually feel it. So I don't know if there's anybody here that felt something when I started it, but I'll do a start-stop and see if you're one of those 10 or 15%. Now the next term is individualized microcurrent frequencies, IMF for short. What does that mean? They are a series of programs, or a series of frequencies that are individual. So if we say, I know that you have, and Tim does this all the time in his work, I know that you've got inflammation. Well, that's 40 hertz. I know that 40 hertz has got to go to the spinal cord. That's a 10. 40 and 10, you broadcast those, it goes to the spinal cord and begins to reduce inflammation. So what is that? That is a frequency. It's specific. And how is it delivered? Well, with Healy, it's delivered when you wear the little wrist straps or those adhesive things. So on a magnetic frequency, on an electrical charge that goes into your body, it's delivered through the microcurrent. And then on that backbone, the wave that goes through it, think of it like a telegraph, to tap, 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 to tap, 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 is a frequency, a resonant of waves to go in there. And your body, it knows where to go. So individualized micro frequency. And people go, what's really interesting about this? They go like, wow, this just sounds space age. This is new. No, not at all. This knowledge of frequencies has been around for over 100 plus years. It actually was outlawed so that the medical pharmaceutical boys and girls could create a monopoly and be the only ones that could sell you healthcare. Because if there was an alternative, that wouldn't be good for business. Because if all of a sudden we go through and we use frequencies and somebody gets healed, or no longer has the condition, well, there's no need to take a pill for the rest of your life, is there? So, if you have a question like, wow, this stuff has been around, but what they've done with what TimeWaver and Healy has done is they've put this into a modern architecture so it's user simple, and it's amazing. And then the last part down here is cell membrane potential. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to flip over the next slide here to show you what that means. Every cell, according to, they've measured, these two professors over here, scientists, measured that each cell, what do cells do? I'm going to take you back to 10th grade biology. Cells do what? They divide. All of our cells divide. You've got different cells. There's heart cells, liver cells, lung cells. But what do cells do? They divide. You need them to divide because, like in your gut, every 3 days, your gut's replaced brand new. On your liver, every 6 weeks, you have a brand new liver. All the cells have divided. It's all brand new. Well, if that energy in the cell down here in the graph is they show like a cell should have about 70 millivolts. You know, a little baby, when they first come on, it's like 90 millivolts. It's like super strong. I mean, they've got boom, 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 boom. They are just, their cells are dividing, they're growing, the whole 9 yards. And then when we have, when we're healthy and have these young cells, they divide quickly. But if we get, as we age, they slow down. But with microcurrents, we can charge them back up. We can bring them back down. But if we're sick and we have problems, the cells slow down. So if the cells slow down, guess what? Your ability to recover is going to slow down. So the microcurrents, when you run with Healy with the microcurrents, that specifically recharges your cellular energy. And so people ask me the question, well, I got a coil and I've got the wires. I say, hey, it's great to have the coils. You're vibrating those frequencies into you. But at a minimum, I would go 3 times a week and use your wires, from what I've learned and what I'm passing on, because it's going to help energize your cells in addition to delivering the frequencies for a headache or, to get better skin or to have your hair grow. I mean, how's my hair look tonight? I really tried to make it look good tonight. This is like I just came out of yoga and my hair is a mess. So there's another picture of the cell, going through here. I've spent enough time on talking about the cell, but this is the cell's ability to go through. And here's a cell at negative 90 millivolts, which means it's got good potential to start exchanging and doing its ability to start to divide. If it loses that, we're in trouble. So this other guy, he did a study over in China on animals. And he found out the effects of the microcurrent, what does it do? Well, it increased amino acid transport, and those are our building blocks. It increases protein synthesis, right, to build cells. So that's, they're saying again what I said. If our cells can divide faster, we're going to be better. If we're sick and the cells are recharged, we're going to be able to get that new thing better. And on the last part, it increases the ATP, which is the energy of the cell, sort of like the gasoline. It fills it up. Okay, people go, well, how does Healy work? Okay, this is kind of the magic part. So in Healy, in here in the inside of this thing, they've got a thing called a quantum sensor. And this little quantum sensor communicates out there with our information field. Remember I talked about that information field, so we don't just end here, we extend out. I mean, this is the dense light and sound throw here. And I know sometimes Tim picks on me and says, well, I'm a little dense up here. But here we go. And we extend out here, we extend beyond out here in this field. So in this bioenergetic field up here, Healy goes through, and with this little quantum sensor, it goes like, okay, hey, I just picked up Angie, or I picked up John, or I picked up Sharon or Gail, and I'm picking up their digital signature, and I'm reading them right now. And then I take that energy back in there, and I compare it to my database of frequencies that I think they need, and then I select one, and then I push it back out, right? I can either broadcast it out there, or I deliver it via microcurrent, depending on which way you're using the device. Right? So in this case here, the individual's hooked up, they've got the little adhesive on their hand, or there's a little wrist strap. Either one works, doesn't matter. And this Healy is, you'll see it when we run a program, you go like, oh, that's amazing. You mean it's doing that for the whole time? Yeah, it's checking you out. It's like call and response, call and response. What is it? What do they need? Okay, send them this. So it's a continual loop, feedback loop. And that's why they're calling it individualized microcurrents. It's analyzing, and then it delivers, comes back, analyzes, delivers, all right? But the best thing is here, does it work? So I kind of think of like a key fob. You got a key fob, okay, it unlocks my door, but it doesn't unlock Angie's door on her car. Okay, does my key fob, when I'm pressing it, cause any harm to Angie's car? No, doesn't. Just doesn't unlock the door. So if you broadcast the wrong frequency, it's not going to hurt you. Okay, that's what I'm trying to communicate there. But if you broadcast the right frequency to the right individual, door unlocks, foot gets healthy, what have you. So again, I've already talked to you about Nuno. All right. Um, and so he's treated thousands of clients worldwide, and now they've packaged that in the Gold program. So that's like a huge. I tell people when you first get your Healy, just go spend your first 2 weeks in the Gold. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So again, I've talked about this, the quantum sensor. That's what drives this thing. The information field, and then here with what Nuno did, he figured out over 144,000 different frequencies are what to use to treat conditions from the liver, the spleen, the gallbladder, the blood, you're up here in your mood, pain. And so he's got a database of these frequencies. So the database is in there, and you've got the quantum sensor figuring out, well, which one does he need? What are the top 2 or 3 frequencies? Because we don't need all of them. Let's just go start knocking them off, because you might be vibrating at a good level and you don't need those, but there's certain ones that are out of harmony. So a good example of resonance that sometimes people go like, well, I still don't understand resonance, John. And I'll say, well, have you ever been to a music shop and maybe there's, a bunch of violins, and you take the bowstring and you go across it and you play a C sharp. And if there's other violins in there, when you draw across that C sharp, they will begin to pick up that vibration and they will vibrate at a C sharp. That's a resonance effect. Also, another resonance effect is you have an opera singer. She pings the glass, picks up the tone and pitch of what that ring sounds like, turns around and broadcasts with her voice that exact same pitch on the glass. And as the longer she keeps it with that little thing there, it will go through, and that very specific frequency will cause the glass to shatter in this way. So imagine if you had a virus and you'd like to have that, and you have the exact frequency of that virus in your body. Wouldn't it be kind of nice just to kind of like ping? That's kind of what Healy can do. Now I'm going to have to work on my singing. I can see Tammy laughing at my singing. So these are the different products, but what we're going to focus on is right over here on the far right over here, because now it's in European. I downloaded the presentation. I don't know why they didn't have this in US pricing, but it's relatively close. So for $1,750, $1,750, this device here is $5,000 US when you translate the euros in there. So when you buy this device today, before Sunday, normally when you bought this device, you would get all these products, and then they would bundle in 3 months worth of subscriptions. And on the 4th month, you'd start paying an annual subscription fee. And I think it was about $70. Okay, so you'd pay your $1,750, and then every month after the 4th month going forward, or you could determine if you didn't want these things, you could not pay for them. But these guys, this bundle of frequencies here, were going to be charged on a subscription basis. So what they did here with this promotion that goes on, ends by Sunday, is they said, you know what, we're going to give them the professional version. We're going to give them all these programs, and there's no subscription fee at all. So that's the promo in a nutshell. I'll show you in the shop what it looks like, but this is what you get. But you come into the shop and you buy this one here, and then Healy Corporate, out of support, is going to automatically upgrade you, because on the back of every Healy, they've got a little, serial number, so they can attach that and download the amount of software that's related to your purchase. So I'm not going to go into any of that because it doesn't matter for us. In future, if there were subscriptions that you wanted, I mean, here's a bonus that you get on this one here too that I hadn't figured out. On the professional, which I don't have, I mean, I have liked the professional, but it's a little bit different because they've done a little bit different here. You also get digital nutrition, which is $60. It's included in there. And you get this bioenergetic vitalization, which is $30. So that's basically $100 on the Healy Resonance. So it's it is an amazing good deal. I mean, it really is. So, anyways, this is just some more survey stuff. But really, when you get down into it, the people that invited you here actually have already feeling a benefit, or they wouldn't have invited you here because they've just gone like, "Wow, don't you want some wellness? This is what I've experienced." So they've done some of these studies, like how often do you use it? When do you get your benefits? And I found in my experience here over the last year, there's some people that get a benefit right away, day one. Some people it takes, a couple days. Then there's a group that takes about 2 weeks within that time frame. And then there is an outlier, a very small group, where it takes like maybe a month or something on that. But that's kind of what my experience has been. So we go through here. Okay, so here's how do you rate the effect of using Healy, where it's improving, right? So this is where people improve some of my concerns, right? If you like that kind of stuff. So this is how many applications somebody ran until they got a benefit, right? So they show like, oh, I ran one and got a benefit at 15%. I ran two, 30%. Somebody ran three. That's over 50% of the people there are all captured in that group. Then people 4 to 6. Now I'm at 70%. So you kind of get a drift of that. I don't know where you're going to fall into that category because everybody's unique. Everybody's individual. I don't know what kind of a toxic environment or what kind of healthy environment you're in. It all kind of varies over there. And this is just saying, okay, people that would recommend it. Okay, so now I'm going to stop here. There's part about if people get involved with this and they like it and then they want to build a business. Well, that's for a different day. But there is a good way that if you want to go through and have a little bit of a side hustle or a main hustle, you can go through and there's a way of how they're doing this to build a business or to get a little extra spending money. So now, before I go to the demo, do you guys have any questions? Anybody have any questions from what I've shared so far? Or do you want to see the tool?
Hey, John, just kind of to point out, by getting this upgrade, it comes down to like to $3,298 in increased value by bumping up to the professional from what they're purchasing. So it's a huge upgrade, and then no subscription. Yeah. So I think everyone wants to see a demo, John.
Okay. Here we go. Let me come back here. We'll get a demo going. Okay, why didn't it come up? Let's go try that again. Screen share, iPad. Now it clicked. Okay. So here's Healy on my iPad, and I've got these 3 apps. So you'll go to the App Store and you'll download these 3 apps. You just type in Healy and you'll see one with the pink dot, you'll see one with the blue dot, and you'll see one, with these waves. Okay? So we've got the pink dot, the blue dot, and the wavy thing, okay? So I'm going to start off and I'm going to show you the blue dot because you get this in there, and this gives you the ability to analyze and broadcast frequencies. So I just want to show you that, and then we'll go backwards this way. So I'm going to start over here, and I'll just call it shorthand the blue dot. And the way that this connects to your device is through Bluetooth. So when I'm connected on Bluetooth, like your earbuds can connect to your phone or your iPad. So when I'm connected to Healy, I connect to it with Bluetooth. So it'll establish a Bluetooth connection. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to go touch here right now. And I've opened it up. All right. So this is kind of what it looks like on the screen. Let's see, that's kind of interesting. Okay, it does a better job if I do it like this for you guys. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Can you guys see that all right? Now, why is Siri starting up? Go away, Siri. That's weird. I've never had that happen. I guess the NSA's in on this one. All right. So here's what it looks like. And we're going to do a resonance analysis. I touch that. And you can see I have a bunch of clients over here. Okay. That I've added. And then at the very top here is where you can add a new client. Okay. So you click over here. And you can add a person, an animal, a plant, an organization, a building, a vehicle, a group, or other. All right. So what I did is I added us down here. I've already added our group when I did that. So I added our group, right? But I'll just go through the process so you see it. Let's say if I did a person, I'll just do a dummy thing, take a photo. And let's see, pick on, okay, let's see, we'll see if it works with there. Bam. All right, there you are, Angie. We got you. Now, this part's kind of cool. Is this okay, Angie? Is it okay if I use you as a demo? Okay, I should have asked ahead of time. Sorry about that. You could say no and I'll start it over. Why did that just pause? Okay, so I've got Angie here. Now, I'm not even close to Angie. Unbelievable. I know why that's doing it. It's doing that because it's starting here. Okay. Let me get rid of Siri. I don't understand why it was starting. Bye-bye. Okay, so I've got Angie over here. Angie's my new friend. Angie calls me up and says, hey, I'm not feeling too well, John. Can you help me out? So she could send me a picture. I could add it in here. And then I go, okay, Angie, I've got my Healy turned on. I am going to record a vibration of you now. And it says to record it. And they instruct you to hold it in your right hand. But obviously, Angie's not here next to me. I can't hand her the Healy. But this is one of the cool things you can do with Healy is I can go through and I can record Angie's frequencies from here to there. So I go, okay, and how do I do that? I hold my intention on Angie. And I'm thinking about, okay, I'm thinking about Angie and I'm capturing Angie. So now it's got a scan for the device because it lost connection, probably from when I was mucking around here for a second. But it'll scan, so this is what it normally does. Oh, there it is, it found it. This is my serial number. That's how Healy knows me. I'm registered with this serial number into the cloud. So I'm going to go touch this little guy here and say, hey, connect it. Okay, I'm now connected and I'm now recording Angie's frequencies. Okay, so then I would come in here and I would okay, I don't have to add your last name. That's good enough. Just click female. Normally I capture birth date and birthplace, but for this purpose, we don't need to do that. We'll just go here. This is good enough. Because we also have intention. So should this client be synchronized to the cloud? Okay. You'd ask them, is it okay if I synchronize to the cloud? But I'm going to tell you right now, Angie, we don't have to because I'll delete you on my database afterwards here. So I'm going to say no. But are you open to have me do a sync or just go through and analyze you right now?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so we say yes. Okay. So now we've got Angie in the database. It's ready to do an analysis on Angie. So I come over here and I click this. And we have a focus statement over here. So this is where, Angie, you'll want to kind of like concentrate. What do I have the greatest resonance? And I don't know why they don't have the word for. I always kind of laugh like, okay, it's German. They missed it. What do I have the greatest resonance for now? And that's like that example I gave you, you know, like where is my body short in frequencies? What would best serve me? Okay. And then down here, we can select a database of which to go through and begin to analyze Angie or anybody else, because there's the quantum sensor in here, and then we're programming it with the database, which you'll see. So I touch this little arrow here, and these are all the databases. Now, you're going to be overwhelmed in the beginning with the databases. And Lori would probably be really good at this because she's a kindergarten teacher, I think, because it said kindergarten in front. And what you would do, you would encourage people just to play and have fun and experiment like you were in kindergarten. So you go like, oh, Alaskan Gem Elixirs, what's that? Now, I don't know why it's on my system twice, but it's, I think there's a little glitch in their thing when they go 1 and 2. But what is that? Well, one way you can learn about these, maybe somebody here knows, but I'll just plug in Alaskan Gem Elixirs into YouTube, and I'll then learn a little bit about what they are. But I can also then touch over here on this little eye, and I can see all the different gemstones that are in there. And there's people here that are really keen and they understand what different gems do to support health and well-being. Well, that's what this database is all about. They've captured the essence of the frequencies of those. Okay? Then we could say, oh, it selected that, but let's wait. Maybe we go through something else. We've got, the next one down here says all Healy programs. And then you see here in brackets, I could have showed you the same there. With things that's in brackets, it means that's how many are in the database called Alaskan Gem Elixirs. This one here says all Healy programs. There's 23. So I go, well, what does that mean? Oh, wait a minute. Look at down here. We've got Healy animal programs, Healy beauty programs, Healy bioenergetic. So it starts off with a Healy in front, right? And these are all the programs that it will use to analyze us on those program categories. So in the very beginning, let's say you go like, well, I don't know, should I use fitness or should I use Gold Cycle or should I look in jobs? Because in jobs, there's 7 sub-programs. In Gold Cycle, there's 7. In fitness, there's 8. Digital nutrition, holy cow, there's 72. Well, which one, how do I prioritize? Which one do I go start with? Oh, well, that's kind of nice. Healy's going to help us on that. So we'll come over here, and this is what when you go through and do your first scan, you go like, okay, I have now, this showed us all those, the programs that were in there, right? So I'm coming back out, and I've now selected. So Angie's thinking, what do we have the greatest resonance for now? We've got all Healy programs, so we want to find out what are the top 5. So we go say, well, let's start an analysis. So I just put my hand on here, and now it shows me a thumbprint. I just want to let you know it's an on-off switch. It has nothing to do, it's just a graphic, it's a meme. It's not like the part on our phone where they'll use a thumbprint to read and it's your security mechanism. This is just an on-off. So I put my hand over there, I touch it where the thumb is, and now I'm doing it for Angie. Now, isn't that amazing? Angie's not here, she's there. I'm doing this for her. So you could do this for a friend of yours in Sydney, Australia, or Paris, France, or Woodbury, Minnesota. Okay, so now we've got a result. We see top 5 programs. And then the way to read this is 60% is the percentage of need, priority of need. And it said, okay, this was the database we ran, all Healy programs. And at 60% were the Healy Gold programs. Okay. Then we had at 58% the Healy Skin programs. Then we had at 55% the Healy Protection programs. At 53% were the Healy Watch programs. And then at 48% were the Healy Fitness programs. So that's kind of nice. It goes like, oh, that helps me figure out what I want. And I can come down here, and this will tell us the date we ran it. So it date stamps it. But now we can go down here under actions and go, well, what would we like to do with this? Well, I could go like this and generate a PDF. Now I've got a PDF and I could send this to Angie. Angie, who invited you here? Was it Marcia or Tammy?
Tammy.
Tammy. Okay, so watch this. So I've got Tammy's email. Okay, I will go like this. So I would click over here. So I click this little guy. And look, it brings up a thing. So I can go through here and I can, on my message, or I could have done email, and I'll go Tammy, right? So there's Tammy. I've got Tammy, and I've now sent this report to Tammy, and she can forward it on to you. How cool is that, right? Now I come over here and I click this little X. I'm going to send this PDF report away. I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to click Actions again. And now look at this. I can vibrate. Holy cow, look at this. We can now go through here and send these programs, these good vibes to Angie. So we come over here and down here in this area, for everybody, I can select my transmission duration. So they default to 1 minute, 20 seconds, but you could go like, well, what else could I choose? Well, I could choose less than a second. I could choose almost 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 8 seconds, right? And people go like, wow, that's crazy. Does it really work at that? Well, little homeopathy tablets, they take these little sugar pills, tablets that are infused with vibrations. You put them under your tongue and it does amazing stuff. And maybe what you do is you do like 8 seconds 4 times a day. But in this case here, we'll go through and I'm just going to take the, we'll go, heck, she's being on our demo here. So here it is. Now I'm broadcasting frequencies to Angie right now. So she's actually receiving the benefit of these programs in that information field that extends from her. It's happening from here. Healy is vibrating with its quantum sensor out there into the field, and it's working. And for anybody that's kind of going like, oh my God, this just seems way too woo-woo, right? Anybody think it's a little woo-woo, right? Well, Tim does this for a living out of, what he does. And he broadcasts this kind of stuff to people all over the world, to animals all over the world. And he just knocks stuff out of them. Marcia over here, who's on the call with us, had a friend of hers who was really sick with COVID and was sick, came out of the hospital and said, hey, couldn't go see her, all that quarantine kind of stuff. But she said, hey, just like I just hooked you up like this, Angie, Marcia broadcast some stuff to her friend and her friend got better. They could definitely see there was a bright line thing that when Marcia started taking care of her friend, and how empowering is that? You can get a little device like this, not only take care of yourself, but take care of a friend. I mean, how powerful is that? So anyways, this is just one piece. So now I'm going to show you the next part that's really kind of cool. So you've just gotten these. Now I have no idea.
John?
Yes.
Yeah, don't mean to interrupt, but I just thought I'd throw a comment in there.
Sure. No, go ahead, Tim, anytime.
The whole radionic principle of quantumly being able to reach out and treat things or treat people from a distance is so cool for those that have experienced it. You don't ever have to try to convince them again because it's like a wow moment. But I just wanted to say, for most of us that do this in the business, or even just for your families, it can take a lot of equipment and a lot of expense, and it can take quite a while to really become proficient or efficient at it, so that you have enough experience to be able to get a good stick and to run the equipment and do it well. And the beautiful thing about this Healy device and the packaged frequencies that are, to apply to specific problems, is it's finally segued to the general public in a way that is technically up to date, because you can use it right on your iPad or your Android or whatever. So it's user friendly enough to learn quickly and apply to the technology you've already got. And secondly, well, it works, and it allows you to be empowered to do so much more that you couldn't before. So without having to take months or years to get proficient enough by going to classes and more classes and more classes. That's the cool part about this. It empowers the typical person out there to take care of their own families in a great amount of the time.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, so if any of you are Tim's customers, you already know. So now Tim's trying to help you get a device that you can actually hold and you have on that. It really is amazing. Okay, so here's what we did. So in like applying this knowledge, like what Tim just shared. So we went through here, Angie, and we went through and it said, wow, gold cycles is what you need the most, right? Where should Angie focus first? So we come over here and we go gold cycles, then with skin. And let's say, they're actually that's relatively kind of close, but in their terms, when they drop more than 2 or 3, they're considering that a big drop, right? Between it. But you can go, so in here, we're going to go through and run a secondary scan on the gold cycle programs, and we're going to find out what are your top 5 out of those 7, okay? So what do? I come down here to the bottom. I touch this little guy here. We're going to go back in here. We're going to do a resonance analysis scan. So I'm going to touch here. Boom. And oh, look at that. It's nice to have an A right over there. I don't have to dig too far down into the database. We can find Angie. Will you be my demo for some of these other ones? Okay, good. Oh, and over here, just so you see, look at this. This shows when it's stored in the cloud. And if you remember, with Angie's, we didn't store it in the cloud. So it's just local to my device, right? So it didn't go off into the cloud, which the cloud is protected with a thing called the master key, but we're not going to get into that. But I just want to show you, if you're doing a demo with somebody, you don't want to put them up into the cloud, just going to go through here. That little icon shows you the difference. So, okay, so we're going to click on Angie. And we're back here again, Angie. Remember, you're going to think about what do I have the greatest resonance for? And we're going to come in here and we're going to select the database. So we're going to look for Healy Gold Database. So as we start to go down all these different databases, right? All these different databases, I come down here and I come through and there it is, Healy Gold Cycle Programs, all right? So I select that, have the analysis to start. And because I'm working with somebody remotely, and Tim I know does this in his thing, you're thinking about the other individual when you're going through it there. You put your intention on that individual as you begin to go through there. So I'm thinking about you, Angie, as we go through there, even though you're trying to shoo me away. Or was that just a fly? I know. All right, here we go. Okay, so we've got our result. I mean, isn't that amazing again how fast it pulls up a result? So here are the levels here. Down here at 32% is relax, 33% is energy, care, pure, being. Now, I've got program descriptions that can go a little more into this over here that share with it, but it's a name in this program here called Being. There could be 500 individual programs to support your body's beingness, to be in itself. In Pure, this is kind of a detox program or to get your body prepared for frequencies, okay? And Care is usually kind of the next one that follows after that. And I can point you towards the guy Nuno Nina, who created these, is now doing weekly programs, and they're recorded. Weekly programs means it started at 6 o'clock in the morning our time because he's out of Portugal. This week's one was on Wednesday. I watched it because I just want to know more about what he's doing. But anyway, so here we have you. Do you want me to send this to Tammy, Angie, for you?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll come in here. And again, so what I would do, I'd select PDF. I touch this here. I see if Tammy's already there. There it is, Tammy. And boom. So Tammy can share that list with you now. But you're being a good demo for us, so let's go through and send some vibrations to Angie. So here it is. Angie now is getting her first Gold Cycle treatment. And what it's doing is it's going through these top 5 that it's selected to vibrating them. All right. And then we'll kind of just, since Angie's our demo person, I'll show you now that you've got this on the resonance, you sort of have like Tim Lippert in your back pocket, somebody who just analyzed you really quickly and determined what you needed for good health. Now, I can guarantee you this, we did this a lot faster than what Tim just does, but Tim can also nail things very specifically. But even Tim, right, Tim? Isn't this kind of amazing? Within 2 minutes, I can have her broadcasting on her first set of frequencies that are her highest and greatest need. And how long would it take you to begin to go GB and then go GV on the individual organs,
Yeah.
GV, right?
Well, that's the beauty of the technology. It can do a lot of things fast.
Yeah. And let me tell you, on radionics equipment, Tim Lippert is the fastest gun in the United States on a radionics machine. There's nobody faster than what he does. And so he's...
I'm not going to get into a shooting match with a computer. They're pretty quick.
Right. They're pretty quick, but I mean, the benefit of working with somebody like Tim is you've got somebody right there who can feel you, and he might even know where to go, because he helped me out on an issue 6 weeks ago on his radionics machine. It was amazing, and he cooked some stuff out of me in 58 minutes, which was amazing, you know? So again, very grateful for that. So anyways, you now have just had a frequency treatment, Angie, on this. So we've learned over here, your highest need that they said was, you know, this is really close between being and pure. So what we're going to do is we will bail out of here. Well, before we bail out of here, I'll do one last thing. I'll do 2 last things, and then when I move to the pink dot. So just so you know, there are all these other databases that you have in here besides Healy, Australian bush flowers. These are amazing, the Australian bush flowers and Bach flower remedies. I've used both of these, especially like the Bach flowers. If there were like kind of emotional issues that were bothering me, they can really harmonize stuff. It's really amazing. And that's what they're for. And then on top of that, the next one here, these creative homeopathy. The lady who created this, she's a German homeopath. Her name is Antonia Popepler. And they've bottled what she does. And she works on traumas throughout your life. And she's got remedies to help evolve and help move stuff on there. So this alone is worth the whole program. You know, and if you got your animals, you know, people like to take care of their pets. You've got the ability to take care of, you know, Fido, whatever, and it works. I've treated animals and had good effect. So you've got all these programs, the Healy programs. I'm not going to go through them all because there's just so much. It takes a while to go through them all, but then you get all these other databases. And when I was down at Tim's one time for a training, I was walking by and I go like, God, I got a headache. And I forgot about Healy. I was like, I think Tammy said, John, you got Healy, why don't you use it? I went, oh yeah, Schussler salts. I went in here, beamed it into myself. By the time I was walking from Tim's lab back over to the house, it had knocked out my headache. And I was like, you know, sometimes the cobbler, you know, doesn't even make shoes for himself. Here I'm sharing these devices and I forgot. So nice to have my friend Tammy there remind me. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. So there's just a lot here in this resonance device. Okay, so now one other part over there, you can do an aura analysis. And so we come over here with Angie, since she's our thing, we go through, we record this. Trying to be respectful of your time too. I was trying to get this whole thing done in 90 minutes or less. Believe me, for some questions. So here we go. It's got your aura analysis here, and we'll share this one with Tammy. But if I come over here and I touch these 3 little lines up in the upper right-hand corner, I can see a bar graph. So it shows here your total energy of this aura is down, okay? Then it automatically selects 3. Now you could say, you know what, hey, I think I'd rather really work on my heart and I'll deselect these two guys. Or maybe root's not so bad, so you can like pick it, right? Or go through here, right? What I could also do is if we had time, we can go into here and I can touch this little area and I can begin to get an interpretation of the whole situation here. And I can read this, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop out of there for a second and I go through here to say start an analysis. And so the focus is my aura is strong and stable. I touch this to create an analysis. So now it's analyzing those two areas in you right now, Angie, and it's created a list. So again, I get a bonus here. I can go show PDF. I'm going to send it to Tammy. So it's generating this so you can read this later. Boom, done. Now I can also go through here and I can vibrate it. So, I mean, for being so thankful for working with me here tonight, Angie. I'm working with you and you're getting these frequencies right now over here. So this, I mean, look how fast you can begin to go through. And if, I'm not going to ask her and how much this goes through, but you get a chance to read these and kind of check into your own life. How well does that resonate? What are you thinking? What happens? Do some of these things, hit you in a spot? You don't have to answer here now if you don't want to, but that's, people when they read these kind of go like, oh my God, that's, some of them like go like, that really hits dead on. So, so I'm going to go through, I will let this thing finish. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to quit out of here and I'm going to go move into the pink dot. And the pink dot's where you actually hook up. But so we know that in Angie's, her highest need, after we scanned all 5, we did a double scan. It said, the first time scan out of the 5 program groups, the highest one was Gold Cycle. Then coming out of Gold Cycle, we did a secondary sort. We went from 23 programs to the top 5. Then we went through and we got the top 1 and we said, okay, in the Gold Cycle, there's 7 programs. What are the top 5 there? And then what's the very top one? So that's what we're going to go through. And you go like, oh, because what do I run for myself? So we're going to come here. And I don't know if you know how to quit a program, but on an iPad, what I do is I just take my finger from the bottom and I scroll up. And then I quit this. By doing that, what that does is it releases the Bluetooth connection from here. So now I've got the ability to reestablish a Bluetooth connection with Healy. And don't worry if you don't know all this right now. You're not supposed to. People who invited you here are going to help you use this. And they have some really nice videos to do this. So here we go. I've touched in here. These are all the program categories. So in here we know that these are the programs that you can actually run with individualized microcurrents. So we know here, Gold Cycle. Well, there are the Gold Cycle programs. Okay. If I wanted to go through there, there's pain. So like when I smashed my toe, where do you think I went? I went over here to pain local, right? I did these 2 pain programs. And actually I kind of jumped over to this one because I know this one runs for 30 minutes. These 2 both run for 20 minutes. See, I'll show you that real quick. See, 20 minutes, pain, local, put the tabs over there, right? I want to back out, cancel. I go here, there's pain, 30 minutes. I just learned that after a while. So you kind of, begin to know when you go to treat yourself what you want to do. If you got a toothache, they show it different areas, but you could put that up here, for a toothache. And I've got a little graphic that gives you some more information on these guys. FDA in their wisdom didn't want us to, say that we could do stuff in certain areas. So we have it as a graphic. Learning, they've got, look at this. You can work on memory. You're having problems thinking. You want to go through. You're stressed. Fitness. I've used this before. It's really pretty cool. Like I was taking rowing classes and it was sort of like a Peloton machine. And I would go in there and you can actually really measure, you know, what you're doing. And I thought, oh, I'm going to try like, you know, performance, strength, or stamina. And I found out that I could do better, you know, on a 500 meters on my stroke time. And then if I wanted to go through, I could use regeneration, which would help get the lactic acid out of my body so I could go for a workout again the next day. It just worked. Job, sleep. I mean, these are kind of some of the programs in here. I'm just kind of highlighting them. I have a friend of mine, and his first time he came in my house, he was just fulminating and upset with all the stuff that's going on in the world. I thought he was going to blow a gasket. But he was coming over here. He was paying for his Healy because he didn't have a credit card, but he had cash. So I said, okay, great, come on over. Paid me the cash, but I said, hey, while you're here, you know, I'll order it. Why don't I give you a program? You know, so I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go run extreme stress. I'm not even going to go through the analyst. I'm just going to go hook him up. I put him on it, and we had a cup of coffee at my, you know, kitchen bar at the house where Tim and Tammy had been before. And we sat down there and we had this, and I didn't say anything, but I could visibly feel his mood coming down. And he went, holy cow, John. When it finished, he goes, do you remember how I walked in the door? And I'm going like, I didn't even think he'd remember. He goes, I feel so much more calmer. I wonder if this will last. He called me up 5 hours later. He's walking his dog, and he goes, I always have perseverating thoughts. I'm not even thinking about anything right now. I was present with my dog. I wonder how I'll sleep. Oh, he called me up the next day. He goes, I slept great. So anyways, that was that kind of deal. So these are the kind of programs that you could do. So in this case here, I just want to speed it along because I know we've been on here for a while and take questions. Here's what you would do. You would come in here, over here. So Angie would go like, oh, being, okay. Maximum duration, 55 minutes. This program won't run any longer than 55 minutes. It could run 10 minutes less. Why would it run 10 minutes less? Because in the quantum sensor, it said, okay, I need to pick, you know, certain times it's picking groups of frequencies in batches of 2 or 3 or 4, and it's vibrating them up to 100%. It may get you up to 100% faster than the duration of time it set. It said, okay, for these 3 frequencies, we're going to allot 15 minutes. Well, if you get those 3 frequencies up to 100% in 5 minutes, it's going to move on to the next phase of the program, and then it'll begin there. So it's really pretty cool. So in this part here, Angie go like, okay, I'm going to go start. And what's happening right now? It's transmitting to Healy, the program. And you can kind of see my Healy, it's like really lighting up. But it's putting that program in here right now. And that's kind of cool because then it's in here and I'm not hooked up to it right now, but down here at the bottom, this would tell you, you know, how you're hooked up and how much intensity do you use, and you can measure it that way. And there's more in here that we can do, and we'll share that. But now I'm actually getting an individualized current program that I selected for myself that, you know, I started with the resonance, I ran the scans, I figured it out, and now I'm giving myself an individualized microcurrent treatment. So I'm energizing my cells, I'm dealing with the things that being's gonna do to create me so I'm a more happy being, and I'm getting my treatment. And I did that all in the space of a few minutes. So that's how that works there. So I'm gonna quit that. And I'm gonna quit this for a second. And then the last part is this Heal Advisor. And this comes with your program when you order it. And this is really pretty cool. Okay, so I gotta go this way, okay. So, oh, that's so nice. Don't you just like it when somebody says, welcome back, and they give you your name? Feels like it's really personal, right? So we start here. Now this is pretty cool. So look at this. We know that we're gonna have these IMF. What's IMF stand for? Individualized micro frequency programs. So this is another way to figure out what program to run. So you remember in that part of the slide where I showed you that medical board of directors? So they took the knowledge of those guys and gals and they put it into here, and let's say you go, I've got a stomach issue, right? What programs could I run? Well, look at that. Here are all the programs that you could run based on what you have that you could run relative to program. You go, okay, What about this whole thing that's circulating around the world? This whole thing called SARS-CoV-2. What would I run for that? Oh my God, look at this. They've got these deep cycle programs. They've got the care programs out of the gold cycle. They've got immune programs, lungs. Well, we've heard it affects the lungs, the hearts, the kidneys, the circulations, right? So if you know something, you can plug it in here. Oh, somebody has high blood pressure, right? All this comes with your tool. So I'm going to get out of here because I want to keep moving along because I'm noticing our time. We're getting, close to what I said we could be done with here. And I'm going to go share my screen for what it looks like at the Healy store. And you know what? Pipe up anytime if you have a question. So I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to get over here. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So here I am at the Healy store. So when you come in here, the person who invited you is going to give you a link where you can go log in and store into the shop. And so I just went over here and I said, hey, I want to go shopping and I want to pick on the Healy editions. So I go to the shop, I go here, right? I come over here. Don't worry about logging on or anything because right now you haven't bought anything yet. So you just go to the shop, you're going to go buy something. And you come down here, and so you see these other editions. So there's these editions, and you're going to want to focus right here. This is the Healy Evolution Officer. That's what they tell you. So you're going to buy this product here for this price. And what Healy is going to do through their support network, they're going to give you a credit for this device. So you're going to buy this one here, and they're going to credit you for this one here. So that's just how you get your discount. You buy this here before Sunday at 4 o'clock, buy it over here. I mean, it's really 5 o'clock, but I'm going to tell you, if you're going to make a decision, we've had problems in the past. We don't have an Amazon-like system yet where it operates super fast. And people who delay and wait and try and order in the last couple hours, well, there's people who have not gotten their order in, because we just weren't Amazon. Now, they say they fixed it, so I'm going to be kind of interested to see how it goes because this is an amazing deal, and I want to see what happens. So anyways, you're going to go through and order this, but you're going to get this. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to go click on this because this is what you get. So you get the professional version, right? Delivery time is going to come in 1 to 7 working days. They're going to show you, they're going to include your, you got your shipping and your taxes. You're going to get all these programs in here, which I've shown you tonight. So you get all this stuff included in there, right? So the only other thing that you would think about ordering at the same time, if I were you, over here, let me get back into the shop. I go to add-ons, and the individual who invited you here would be this guy right here, is the coil. It's right there, 224 bucks, because a lot of people, go through there, you get the coil for that price. That really helps, kind of gives you another way to treat yourself. So let's say you're going out, you're working, you're going to the store shopping, but you want to give yourself a treatment. Well, you could just put Healy in your pocket. And like in Angie's case, she knew it was being, so she didn't want to go with the microcurrent treatments, but she wanted to get the benefit of an individual program. She'd slap in her coil, put it there. She could put it in her pocket, and she's getting that treatment. Okay. And the only other thing that you would want would be under accessory, and this is kind of nice because you go like, oh, where am I going to store all my stuff? Where is it? Right there, your case. And that's nice. The little case, you can store your Healy, you store your straps, right? You're gonna have straps like this, right? So you got these little straps and coils, and then you get your little, your sticky pads and everything in there in your coil, and you've got it all plugged in there. That's all you need right now to get out of the chute. So that would be it. If you just wanted to skinny it down and just get the Healy, okay, great. But if I were you at this time, I would go through, I'd get the coil and I'd get a case and plug that in on your order, and you're going to be really happy. So I'm going to stop the sharing right now and see what we have for questions. And anybody else that wants to pipe in on anything I've shared there, Tammy and Tim, Marcia, what questions can we answer?
How do you know how long you have to run programs or you should run them? Like when you're in the Blue app,
Yep.
how long, you did it for a minute. Would there be reasons to run it longer, shorter? What's the benefit?
There's a couple different ways to kind of do it. There's one, think about it like homeopathy, right? So homeopathy would be little doses over a long, over a period of a day. So I could do it 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. If you have something acute, let's say you just smashed your toe or somebody has it, you might want to run it for a longer chunk of time. And then, where's my little, oh, it's on the table over here. Let me go grab it. Show you one other little trick that I learned. You may do muscle testing, you may do dowsing, and Tim does this all the time. I got a little crystal over here, right? I can hold it over my hand. I go, show me a yes. Thing starts to spin this direction for me, right? I didn't have this ability before I got Healy. I probably already did, but I didn't know I did, but I developed it. Show me a no, and the thing moves back and forth. So now I kind of go through, it's like, okay, should I, I'll ask myself a question, is this program that I've just done, is this a good set for me? Should I run it for 1 minute or 2 minutes? And if I have something there and I've really done it, it's not moving right now because I don't have a program I've done, but it will go through and I will get an answer from it this way, and I'll just go follow it. I work with people over here, with Healy, and I would say like, okay, was being a good program to broadcast to Angie? Right? I'm not spinning this, Angie, right? Healy came up with the answer. It said, is this a good program for Angie? Right? You see my hand, I'm not moving it. And it's kind of moving into what I call the hell yes. Not just a yes, it's going into the hell yes, right? So that was a good program to run for you. Now, then you could go through on the blue dot there when we had the top 5 for there. Let's just say you were going to broadcast it, and you could use something like this. Tammy for sure can teach you how to do that. If you don't know how to do this, Tammy can do it, or come on to us on our Thursday night calls, because we're going to probably try and help more of our users know how to do this, because I didn't know I could do it. Tim helped me do this. And, it's just another, what happens, I think the more you use these frequencies, the more intuitive and connected to source you become. I really do. And I think probably others here would verify for that. To me, the more you do this, the more connected to source and to each other. So good question. How about you have another question, or anybody else? Does anybody here have enough information to make a purchasing decision? I'm not trying to push anyone here to buy. I really, don't really care, but I think it's an amazing deal. So if there's any kind of like question that you have that's holding you back from taking advantage of it, I would, ask me now, because it really is a phenomenal price what you're getting. You really are getting a very, very powerful package of a lot of stuff at an amazing price. I've sold a lot of these at that full boat price. So, and the people who have them are happy. Now, you guys get the opportunity to get an amazing discount and have no subscriptions over there. And I would really, package it up as that bundle. Get the Healy, get the coil, and get the case. Because the case is kind of nice. I mean, if you go like, oh, could I beat the price on a case? Yeah, I could show you a case to go buy on Amazon. I did it on Amazon. I bought one for $13, but they didn't have the Healy case at the time. But now I have a Healy case too. So I've got a Healy case and I've got that. So that would be kind of a nice little package. And then you can store everything in there, which is kind of nice, and you can carry it with you. Who else? How about anybody want to share a testimonial for anybody? Does anybody want to hear anybody else's testimonial on what they've done. I mean, Tammy, Marcia, I mean, you want to share something that you've done, that why you like it? What's going on for you, Marcia? You want to start? And then we'll get Tammy.
I've used it for myself and my family and other people too. And I think it's amazing. I'm, using it to work with my mom with even her memory and like that. But also with Julie, the gal we talked about, that was pretty amazing what happened with her. And I wish she was on tonight, but she has got an amazing testimony. And it was just because I was able to send her frequencies, and she was not in a good situation. And within a week of that time, she was actually back at work full time. And I was pretty surprised, but that was great. I had a day too where I was having some really low back kind of sciatic stuff. It was probably more of an emotional thing, but I know what that feels like. And I tried to get into the chiropractor and they weren't calling me back. So I thought, oh, well, I have Healy. Maybe there's a reason. So like you said, so I did an analysis, and actually sciatica local came up as one of the top things under whichever program it was. And so I did hook up to the pain for the 20 minutes, and it was absolutely amazing. I never did have to go. Generally, I've always had to go for this situation. So I just, I think it's amazing. And I was able to drive. Otherwise, I didn't think I'd be able to drive up to convention. It was
Wow.
not good. So it was pretty amazing. And I just kept sending myself, other frequencies, but I only did that 20 minutes and it really made a difference.
Where did you
So
put the pads?
I put one up here and one on my low back.
Okay.
So that's what I did for that, because I was hurting from here all the way down to both of my legs and into my feet. So that's what I did, because mostly it was my left side. So that was pretty cool. That was kind of a fun thing to do. Kind of done a lot with it. I love it. I think it is so worth it. It's just amazing what we can do for other people. And I think the prices, like I was wishing more people could get in on the deal that I did. And now people get more than what we even got at the time. So I think it's fantastic. So that's my thoughts.
Wow, no, thanks. I hadn't heard that testimony of yours on the sciatica, so it's amazing. The reason I asked where did you do it, because my mom's been having some sciatic issues, and I thought, oh, okay, so I'm going to go through and share it. So this is what we do on Thursday nights. We try and learn like this because I don't know everything. So you just helped me out. So thank you very much. I'm gonna be able to help my mom out. Tammy? Do you want to share any testimony of yours?
Took me a minute to get it unmuted. Uh, I've used it for so many different applications, but without duplication. One of the areas that I get super excited about with the Healy is the emotional piece of it and the stress piece of it, because I really strongly believe that those are the roots to a lot of our physical ailments. And so the Healy is so powerful on that. And I probably on a regular basis, I'm running the jobs program on people, because that is on every level. It's the stresses and how your brain and all of that reacts, and your central nervous system and all of that react to that stress. And we all know that that is at an all-time high right now. And so just kind of the emotional side of it and some of the programs and the way that it can work on that emotional and the information field is unbelievable. So that's kind of my little plug on that part.
All right, thanks. So does anybody have a question? John, Aaron, Lori, Deborah, Dorothy, Gail? Okay, hold up your hand, right? Isn't that what they say in kindergarten? Go hold up your hand, right? I just like to have fun with you, Laura, right now, because it's been a while since been in kindergarten. Sharon, are you trying to talk to us? You're on mute still if you're there. You're still on mute. You've got to unmute yourself and then we can hear you. Still on mute. See the little red thing down here? It's I think the microphone is on the Zoom part. I know you got it once before. We'll let you know when we hear you. We still don't hear you, so I know you're trying to push buttons on that crazy device. There you go.
Okay,
Yay! Sharon did it.
well, I think it's putting me to sleep. Is that possible?
Yeah, it could help with frequencies if that was something, let me go through on that one I ran.
Because I didn't sleep well last night, so I was really tired all day today. And then as you began speaking, I got so relaxed. I've had a hard time staying awake. So I missed a bunch of it.
Well, we got a recording so you can go look at it, but I'll tell you what,
Oh,
let's
okay,
take a
good.
peek. So stay on, stay there. I'm going to bring up the iPad and I'm going to go pull up and see what we sent. Why did it go there? Okay, so here's what I did. So I can go into my Healy and down here I click this little house and then I click over here where it says lists because it'll show me what lists I just ran tonight. So if you
Okay.
remember, we did a few on Angie, so that's why hers are on top. But then I also did as I was getting this call set up, I just did this here and I took a picture of us, right? So here's the programs that we ran. Oh my God, look at that. Dorothy, do you see that program?
Oh, wow. Wow. It worked.
I mean, isn't that just crazy? I had no idea, right? I had no idea. So there you go. So sorry to put you to sleep before the presentation. Probably next
Yeah.
time we'll hold off on the frequencies. But I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you a little bit more as we sign off. No reason that I can't blast these frequencies at the group. I'll plug it in there it's going to go reconnect to the Healy and, it'll send it to everybody here. So it'll take a second for it to go through. It's scanning for it. There it is. It found it. So you're like my friend now there, Dorothy, who was eating the hot pizza and it helped her out, right? So
Right.
yep. So you actually are creating a testimonial in that sense. Obviously, there was a need for sleep. It's working on that area for you, probably
Wow.
here too, but it had more of a quicker effect. I never know when it's going to affect somebody as dramatically as it just did with you. Maybe somebody else needed learning, somebody in the bioenergetic harmony, we could dig into that program to find out which categories are in there to go
Wow.
through. But this is how this works.
Wow. So I should sleep really good tonight.
Well, better than, probably better than what you've done on the other nights, You could say like,
Yeah.
oh, if I sleep a little better than I did, that would be an effect.
Wow. Good.
And you can do this for yourself. You no longer have to take Advil PM, right? Who wants to take a pharmaceutical? If you can
Yeah.
clean, really clean like this.
Yeah.
Contraindications, because it looks like John's still awake over there. His eyes don't look too heavy. So it didn't put him to sleep. So maybe he's getting benefit from some of the other frequencies.
Yeah.
John, there is a negative to doing this if you do it regularly. Well,
What's that?
you should warn them.
Okay.
It might make you smarter and better looking. And
Oh, I could use that.
all right, I'm just being a smarty pants.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yep. We're working on a scar on my mom's forehead and it's starting to change and disappear. It's been there for 10 years. And it's starting to get smaller and change. So that's about,
Hey,
yeah.
in all fairness, I hear certain words around our place a lot more than I used to. Like every time Tammy runs a scan on somebody or her grandson or whoever, and it's like, ooh, wow, like that's really accurate. You're like, holy cow, how does it know that? You know, this fits like a glove. It's like you're gonna hear those words a lot, guys.
So we've run, I've run over here. We got an hour and, 20, 30 minutes here into this. If there's, if you have a question to order, whoever invited you here, go back to them. They can help you order. If you need some other help between here and Sunday and you have another question, I'm here to try and help too. We can do another demo or something if you need a little more help. But I really get excited by when people buy it and they start to tell me what happens, to them in their lives. I mean, that's part, there's the little bit of the business aspect. I do it kind of part-time for a business thing, but what's really cool is just the stories I hear from the people and how it's changed their life. Marcia with her friend over there never would have happened if I hadn't gotten involved with this, because that's just the way that, the connection fits right now. Maybe Marcia would have connected with it later at some other time, but it happened because I met Tim and Tammy at a conference in March. And then we became friends. We became friends, not just the whatever, we became friends. And then it started to pass on there. So it's kind of like we're getting a whole new little tribe together. And my focus is this, and I just share this with everybody, is maybe this is a party thing. Number one is health. That's got to be your number one focus. And why do I say that? And number two is tribe. Tribe is your family and your friends, right? Your associates. Number three is, your wealth, your ability. And then you wrap those three all up in spirituality, right? You could be a Stephen Jobs. He had a lot of wealth. He had a great tribe, but he had no health. He died at 56. He didn't focus on his health, right? He focused on wealth creation. So if you get your wealth, this thing is going to help you focus on your wealth, and then you build your tribe, you got your wealth, and then wrap that all up in, the goodness of, the creator and that, and you're good to go. So that's kind of, I think that should kind of like sum it up, unless we get another good question here. I didn't know we were going to end with a testimonial with Sharon on her iPad over there.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
You may have covered it and I missed it, but like when I want to, I'm sure I will know how to connect myself to the Healy,
Mhm.
but how do I connect my other family members? Do you have to have a picture of them or what?
Yeah, a picture helps, and they send a picture to you. Maybe there's a picture in your photo in your iPhone, or you can actually take a picture and add it in there.
Oh, okay. And
Yep.
that's the way. You have their name and the picture and you just click on that.
Yep. And then you also record a vibration. You record a vibration, and whoever invited you, Sharon, will help you get that all set up so it's easy peasy.
Oh, okay, good.
So
Tammy
yeah, so Tammy's really
and Tim.
Yeah, Tammy and Tim, they're going to help you set it up. And, I just kind of go back to the beginning. In the beginning, it's a lot of stuff. Don't worry. Just in the very beginning, treat it like a kindergartner and play with
Okay.
it and just have fun.
Okay.
You'll
And
get to know it in a month. In the first week or two, you kind of sometimes feel overwhelmed. That's why I think what, Tammy and I have been doing, and Marcia, we'd say, look, just run the goal programs. Keep it really simple. And then you get the idea of like, oh, this is easy. Oh, now I want to go branch out. I want to start scanning and giving other people the goodness I'm getting. And
oh,
I'm
okay.
just kind of, we start on a trike and then we go to a bike. But
Right.
you've got a Maserati motorcycle here. So it's like, okay, before we start putting you in the cockpit of the Ferrari, which this has, let's go start you on the little scooter first.
Yeah.
And then you can accelerate from there.
And how do we find out about the price and the cost? Ask Sammy.
Ask Tammy, she'll help you. She'll probably sit down there with you. If you've got your credit card, she can probably walk through the whole process and make it really super easy, simple to get it set up and sent to you and get you, your Healy with a case, with a coil, and you get all that wrapped up. dropped into your door and, couple, anywhere from 1 to 7 days, it'll be there. When you get it, you just go,
Mhm.
hey, I got it. Time for you to get a little bit of help. And she'll
Oh,
get help.
okay. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna be ordering it for a couple of weeks, but that'll,
Well, let me just answer one thing there. So if you're not ordering for a couple of weeks, the part maybe where you fell asleep on is
uh-huh.
they're taking the one that costs $5,000. I'm going to show it to you right now. I'm going to show it to you on the screen because I think it'll be a better imprint for you and anybody else that I would do it now versus later. And now being before Sunday, so figure a way out. So we're going to go here to where's the Healy shop. Okay, I'm going to come back over here since you. Okay, so I'm over here, Sharon, and let me get this. I got to get the screen out of the way. I'm going to go over here and get the Healy editions. I'm clicking on that. You don't have to worry about this because Tammy will help you order, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I just want you to see this. The promo that they've got going on right now is for this price right here. And this
Uh-huh.
price, normally when people bought this price and this product, they would have a monthly subscription that would kick in after a period of time. So they'd pay this $17.57, and then there'd be a monthly fee of like, I don't know, 60, $80 a month, right? Ongoing forever. Okay. Or if you didn't want to have the subscription, you would lose a chunk of the programs. Okay. But what they're doing right now, if you order before Sunday, is you pay this price and they're going to give you the professional one, this one right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh wow, exactly. And there's no, for this price, so you order this one here, but you get this one.
Mm-hmm.
And oh wow, you get all that, and there's no subscription. So there's no
Wow.
monthly fee on top of that. So you get all that. So you save the $3,300 plus you don't pay any subscriptions, and they bundle in 2 subscriptions that weren't on this one that are worth about $100 a month.
Wow.
It's like such a slam dunk, easy kind of deal. And the best part is you're still wavering. You're not 100% sure. You buy it. You get 14 days to try it. So the day you receive it, you use it for 14 days. If you're not 100% convinced this isn't the best thing for you, they will even pay for return shipping to take it back.
Mm.
So I wouldn't wait a couple months. If you're thinking, if you have any kind of indication that you think you want it, I would buy it, go through, try it, take the 14-day test drive, put it on your credit card, go through, and if for some reason you can't do it, then return it. But I'm going to tell you probably what happens is you're not going to return it. You're going to keep
Right. Who would?
right, because they've never had this deal here with this kind of thing before. So I don't know why they've done that. However, I've never seen it before like this. So anyways, I'm glad you asked that question. So very good question, because I wouldn't have wanted you to delay and then go to Tammy. What happened? Why am I supposed to pay $5,000? I don't want to pay $5,000, but I want everything else what John showed me on that demo. So that's the deal there. Good question.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for sharing that, because I was definitely asleep during that.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you look kind of awake now. You're kind of ready to go talk to Tammy and go, what do we need to do?
Mhm.
Okay. How about anybody else? John, you got a question?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, thanks. Aaron, you got a question? I don't know. Video's off. Maybe she fell asleep. Maybe the sleep program worked for her. How about Deborah? Deborah, do you got a question? All right, last one, Dorothy. All right. Well, all right. I think we're good to go then, huh? Anything else? All right. Hey, everybody, let me click there. There we go. I will get that recording and let's see, stop it.